Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Very briefly, I'll just give you a quick verbal update where we are with three fairly significant development referrals, which came via the regional district and by the Ministry of Transportation in the June to September timeframe. Janice asked me to sort of pull together some comments from staff, from our engineering consultants, which I have largely done. I've also been in contact with the appropriate staff from the ministry and from the regional district who sent the referrals to Union Bay for comment. I have let them know that imminently we will be considering these referrals and to expect comments from Union Bay before the Christmas break. Both of them are fine with that. Both agencies were not outside the window for comment. So I will be preparing a short report with the attached comments from the staff and from the engineering consultant, the district's engineering consultant, on the three referrals, and I'll be putting that on the agenda or giving it to Janice to put on the agenda for the next board meeting on the 10th of December. You may recall that two of these referrals related to Union Bay Estates, two subdivision applications, one fairly large, one less large. And the other application was from Upper Island Developments Limited for a significant piece of property up to 114 lots. So basically, more to follow. I'll be presenting a report. It'll be on the agenda for December 10th, and they will have the report will have the comments from staff and from the engineering consultants, so you folks can weigh in and provide any additional comments which I would recommend be forwarded to the ministry and to the regional district before the end of the year.
Thoughts or comments? I'll start right to left. Eve, anything that you would like to comment on?
No, thanks.
John?
No planner comments, Gary?
I just, at this point in time, I've just sent them to the district's engineering consultant from Coors, Ken Dahl. You know, there's very significant infrastructure considerations in both of these, but no, to answer your question, at this point in time, I'm not aware if the district has used a planning consultant in the past, but at this stage of the game, I've just tried to keep it fairly focused and got the comments from Coors and from the fire chief. And certainly the public works superintendent, he intends to be at that meeting or to sit in at the meeting, and he has some comments in regards to the applications as well. He's aware of them. I've touched bases with both the fire chief and the public works superintendent.
So in terms of, everything okay there? In terms of existing land use planning, it sounds like you're not anticipating there's going to be any kind of issues with that, but you're focusing not solely, but mostly on the engineering part of it. And I'm a little bit puzzled by that. So how will we know that this fits with the plans, the planning plans?
Well, first things first. I mean, I used to see these referrals all the time coming in from the regional district or the ministry. I don't know what the practice of the district has been in the past, but when these came to my attention, I recommended that they be brought to the board with or without comments so that the board be made aware of them, because they are significant development applications. One's a rezoning bylaw. One is a rezoning application, which has been sent by the regional district. They have not introduced the rezoning bylaw yet. They've not scheduled a public hearing. That would happen in the first quarter of next year. I do not have the comments of the engineering consultant because there's just not enough information that was provided along with it. There's a synopsis that was provided by the region, and certainly I'm sure that the board will have some comments on some of the points that are raised by the region in that document. The other two referrals are subdivision applications, so much further down in the process. And there's a lot more information in those applications, which the engineering consultants have looked at. And they have a number of comments, but more questions than comments in regards to information that would clearly have to be provided by the applicant to advance this application further. So as you'll see, there's lots of questions that have been raised by the engineering consultant. I'm not aware what the practice has been in the past on these referrals. Typically, when I used to bring these to council's attention, again, these are early in the stages, right? I just bring them to council. Our planning director and our engineer may have had some comments at the time. We usually didn't generate a staff report at that stage. We just brought it to the attention of the council that, hey, there's some applications out here that are working their way through the regional district or the ministry. You need to be aware of these, and here's the opportunity to provide any comments you may want, whether that be from an engineering, planning, political perspective, whatever. So I just thought it was very important that these be presented to the board, given the magnitude and the size of them.
Okay, I understand your process, and that's fine. Obviously, my concerns lie with what's being proposed is either inconsistent or consistent with plans. So at some point, that's a question in my mind that has to be answered.
Yeah.
My question on that, John, would be what plans?
Yeah.
Well, the organization that's responsible for the planning is the regional district. I want a clear understanding of what's being proposed and how it differs from what's in the planning documents. There may not be any difference. It may be, I would assume if they're asking for a different zoning, that there are differences between what the plan says and what they're proposing. Otherwise, it wouldn't be in front of us.
Exactly. So I think it's right there.
And I'm sort of looking for a before and after. I'm not raising any alarms. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying I want to know what was originally planned and what this does to our plan, or their plan, shall I say.
Okay,
The engineering is the more critical thing, because that 114 lot subdivision, correct me if I'm wrong, that wasn't even in the program in terms of working with Kensington. So in my mind, I'm just not sure how that's fitting in to our overall capacity to serve the subdivision with water.
So that I assume is in your reports, Gary.
Yeah, I would think so.
Unmute.
So is it my turn?
Well, Gary was speaking there. He was muted, but I don't know if he has anything he wants to add.
Oh, we
You're
can't
muted.
hear you, Gary. It's on the top bar.
Yep, I've got it. Thanks. Yeah, the one from Upper Island Developments Limited, it's a rezoning application. So the referral has actually come from the regional district, and in their synopsis, they've outlined quite clearly the nature of the rezoning application and how it fits or doesn't fit into the regional district's planning documents. The referrals on the Union Bay Estates, there are two subdivision applications. They've come via the ministry, and I'm assuming, certain that the ministry would also be asking for comments from the regional district on these rezoning applications. So I think that there's quite a bit of meat in there. At this stage of the game, it's not typical that you go to an in-depth analysis, because there's just an awful lot of information that still needs to be provided by these applicants and our engineering consultants, and we will be recommending a number of pieces of information. But it gives you an opportunity to be aware of them and to get your comments out to these agencies at this stage of the process. And many of the comments you've made, Trustee France, can be certainly brought forward in terms of requests for further information. That's the purpose of bringing them to your attention.
Susanna?
I look forward to reading the report, and thanks for doing the background on that. That's it.
And the only question I would add would be, is there anything that of significance that you can mention to trustees to ponder on pending the report? Is there anything we need to know about a significant issue, Gary, or is it just best to wait for the report?
Well, all of these applications, as you'll probably be hearing from the Public Works Superintendent, have significant potential infrastructure upgrading and service delivery implications. And, you know, there's a lot more information that needs to be required. These are significant applications in terms of magnitude, scope, and size, and potential implications on Union Bay. So this is why I thought it was critical that they be brought to your attention. So you can weigh in and provide those comments to these jurisdictions before the year end. And luckily, we're still within the envelope. They'll still accept our comments.
Yeah.
Anything further, or shall we move on to budget?